to another Sunday WOAY ABC4 Community Forum, where we talk to community leaders and local success stories to discuss important information that affects all of us here in Southern West Virginia. I'm your host, Brandy Lawrence, and today we're joined by another distinguished guest. Jerry Knowlton, who is the Director of Public Relations for Hospice of Southern West Virginia, joins us this morning. Thanks so much for coming back to the forum.
Oh, thank you. Always love coming in and having a good talk.
Yes, we do. We always do. And you always give us such great information. But the people out there that may not be familiar with Hospice of Southern West Virginia and what you all do, can you let them know?
Sure. So Hospice of Southern West Virginia, we provide compassionate care to those who are in end of life, to meet their physical, their spiritual, and their emotional needs, not just for the patient, but also for their family and their loved ones as well. And as we know, it's always such a difficult time when you are faced with a terminal illness and you know, going through end of life.
Awesome. And thank you so much for that. And another thing that I love when you come talk to us about hospice is that you always stress that hospice is not always end of life care. Like sometimes it's terminal. Well, you are dealing with something like really serious,
right? And
you may need hospice care, but it doesn't always mean that this person is passing.
Right. So there's a couple of things. We do have a sister organization, Palliative Care of Southern West Virginia, and if you have been diagnosed with a serious illness, then palliative care would be the right path for you. But if you have reached a point of needing hospice, and by that, oftentimes you are opting out of aggressive treatments. There's no longer treatments available, or you're opting out of going after those aggressive treatments, and you're but managing symptoms now. And oftentimes we find, and statistically proven, that patients who are managing those symptoms well, their quality of life improves, and then it often adds to the number of days added to their life because of that as well. So statistically, we know that people who come on for hospice care and those symptoms are managing well can live up to 29 days longer than someone who has not come on to hospice services.
Absolutely, and that's so interesting. And honestly, if you've ever been out to the hospice building, the facility is really beautiful and it's really calming, and it's really a great place to be at a time that can be really traumatic. So thank you all, for what you do.
So we're really, proud of our facility, and our grounds are beautiful, and there is a very peaceful element. Even as an employee going to work there every day, there is something special about coming to the campus there, and I think it's not just the beauty of the grounds, but it's the beauty of the people that choose to come to work every day and hold the hands of people who are facing terminal illness.
Absolutely.
There's something beautiful about all of it.
Definitely, because it's important work, but I can understand how it could be difficult for the hospice workers to do it too, because you see these people so often and you build these relationships, and it could be hard to see them pass on. So thank you all for what you do.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
I will spread that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know you all also sometimes have volunteers and things to come out and help out with everything that you all do. So how could somebody who's watching right now get on and help you all with that?
Right. So to really understand the beauty of hospice care is that it is an interdisciplinary team that is taking care of the patient and their family. And so those decisions about plans of care involve not only our medical director, Dr. Kelly Pitzenbarger, and the patient, but also, the family's a part of that. Our nurses are part of that, our CNAs, our chaplains, our social workers, and our volunteers. So that everyone plays a part in making sure all of their physical, spiritual, and emotional needs are being taken care of. Those volunteers do a number of fantastic things for our organization. They provide administrative support to us in the Wickham Administrative Building. They provide support out in the community, going out and being a part of us being at events and so forth. They do home visits, and they sit and beside a patient and provide, just support and friendship and, someone else to talk to that day. And they also provide vigils. They will sit with patients who don't have family, who don't have loved ones. And as sad as that may seem, there are people that don't have someone sitting beside them through this very vulnerable time in their life. And we have volunteers that graciously come in and sit down at bedsides with patients. And we have volunteers that answer our phones, and, they help with the gardening. And, if you have a talent, if you have a skill that you think can benefit in that way, these are our volunteers. And they make up a beautiful group of people. We even have volunteers that go out just to learn people's family stories, and is this a story we need to tell that they want to tell, because this may have been a life that was extraordinarily lived, or it's just there's something special about this person and or their family. And so we have volunteers that go out and capture those stories for us, so that again, everything is about honoring life. And if it's in telling that patient's story or being at their bedside, Hospice of Southern West Virginia is about honoring life.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if there are any volunteers out there that feel that they have any services that they could provide to hospice, please get in touch with them and see how you can help out. Because this is it's a wonderful cause, and it's something that's really meaningful, I feel, especially to these people who are at the end of their life and they just needed somebody there to hold their hand.
And just to show how much this community wraps their arms around Hospice of Southern West Virginia, we are required by Medicaid to provide 5% of our care be from our volunteers. Our volunteers last year gave 12.74%. So we are well above what we are required to provide, and that's because of that dedication of those volunteers who show up and put in, whether they're putting in 1 hour a month or they're putting in lots of hours in a month, it's what they're able to provide. But it helps us meet those patient needs and more than fulfill our requirement of 5%.
That is wonderful. That's
it
wonderful.
is. It's
Shout
amazing.
out to you all,
Yes.
Southern West Virginia, for
Yes.
coming out to help. Yes, give yourselves a hand. So we have all these things about Hospice of Southern West Virginia. I know that you all also do fundraisers and things. I know one of your biggest kind of hit a snag this year, but we do have an alternative things going on.
Sure.
I see you all are shifting gears for a cause.
We had to shift gears. Yes, we did. Much to our surprise, these unforeseen circumstances kind of hit, and it such a difficult decision because of the two nonprofits that it supports. It was a very difficult decision for the committee, the steering committee, to make in having to press pause, put the brakes on for this year, and figure out how we can do this again bigger and better next year. And so, yes, we are revved up regardless, and we are going to go ahead and still have our Saturday night concert, which always took place outdoors. This year, we're going to do that concert at Woodrow Wilson High School Auditorium on July 12th. And the band Capture Louisville is a Journey tribute band. So shout out to these 80s fans out there. And we're going to hold that concert then as planned. This will be a way for us to have a little bit of a fundraiser that will support both Hospice of Southern West Virginia and Bryan Safe House.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I know it's unfortunate, but I feel like this is a great way to still, have your fundraiser and produce some more live music to Raleigh County. Because I know that Southern West Virginia loves live music, and we have so much talent here and, around us in our Appalachian neighbors. So
right.
You guys make sure that you all go to the Shifting Gears show. That'll be July 12th.
So I understand them to be incredibly entertaining. So I think you're looking for it to be a really good time. We do have some special seating available. So if you want to be in the front row, listen, Gen X, now's your time to show up. If you want to be in that front row, $50 for a front row seat. If you want to be in the second row, it's a suggested $40 ticket, and in the third row, $30 ticket, and then all other seats within the auditorium there at Woodrow Wilson, $15 suggested donation. And again, just reminding everyone that the Friends of Charity Auto Fair was a significant fundraiser for Hospice of Southern West Virginia and for Bryan Safe House. This had an incredible impact on both organizations. So, the community, we're asking you to show up for this. And next year we'll come back bigger and better.
Absolutely. And you got more time to plan this year for next year. So maybe there'll be some other little things that we can expect next year, but we can't do that if we don't, go enjoy ourselves at Revved Up Regardless this year on July 12th at the Woodrow Wilson Auditorium. So, and if you want those front seats, you guys go ahead and really make sure that you go get those tickets.
They will go fast. There's not many front row seats. There's not many second row seats, and there's not many third row seats. So if you want to be close, you got to act quick.
Absolutely, because Woodrow does have a nice size auditorium, but like she said, it's limited. So make sure you go get your tickets. All right, so we're a couple minutes out from our first break, but before we go, do you mind plugging that contact information for Hospice so people can keep up with you all?
Absolutely. So to learn more about Hospice of Southern West Virginia, and if you are interested in volunteering, you can go to our website, www.hospiceofsouthernwv.org, and you can click on that volunteer button and learn more about volunteering with our organization. If you have questions, don't hesitate to give us a call at 304-255-6404.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Jerry. And thank you all for joining us for the first half of Community Forum. Come back after the break. We're going to talk more about Hospice of Southern West Virginia and some of the sessions and workshops that they have going on. Welcome back to Sunday Community Forum. I'm here with Director of Public Relations for Hospice of Southern West Virginia, Jerry Knowlton, and we're talking about everything that Hospice does, all the sessions and workshops and things that they have going on to help not just people who are passing on, but to help their families with that grief. So just recently, this past Mother's Day, you all had a grief workshop, and then Father's Day is coming up, and you are hosting another one for that as well.
Absolutely, yes. So Mother's Days and Father's Days can be really difficult if you've lost that mother, if you've lost your father. That first holiday, that first day of Mother's Day without them, or that first Father's Day without them, can bring a lot of emotions. And so our bereavement specialists have created these opportunities to help people with their coping skills and ways to manage that grief through that holiday. And we know relationships are complicated, and if you have a great relationship with your father and he passes, and you may feel all the pride and joy of having them for a parent, and it's still hard. it's still hard, and your life keeps going, and the one person you want to be able to share those life moments with is no longer there. So even though you can feel positively and they're moving on, you still have your grief to try and manage. And our bereavement specialists just have a way, it's just a very special way of gently guiding you through that. And then if you have complicated relationships, it's all the more, right? It dredges up all the more kinds of emotions. And again, having those coping skills is important, and being able to understand that your grief is your journey, and it's going to be different from yours, and it's going to be different from mine, and that's okay. And understanding how to manage that and cope with it along the way, we can help provide some mechanisms that can help you through that process.
And that's so important too. And I think there are a lot of people, walking around with grief, and you may not really realize it just because of the whole hustle and bustle of life. You have work, you have kids, you have home. I mean, it's a lot to deal with, but I think this is a great opportunity to let people really sit with themselves and really think about, well, how do I feel? To really take stock of how they're feeling, and really just, like you said, develop those coping mechanisms and learn how to identify when, hey, I'm having a hard day, I'm having a hard time.
Sometimes we have to carve out that time too, right, to acknowledge those emotions that we're feeling. I've been very open about the passing of my dad a year and a half ago, and there are moments in the day where it hits me and I'm like, I don't have time for this now, and you shove that aside because you've got a job to do, and you've got a task list to accomplish, and you've got things that you have to take care of, and all of a sudden, it just builds and builds. And at some point, you do need an outlet for that grief, and in a healthy way. And if we don't figure out how to do that in a healthy way, sometimes it comes out in an unhealthy way. And so, again, just figuring out how to maneuver that and having support. I think we're, as Appalachians and West Virginians, we're very sure in who we are, and we pick ourselves up by our bootstraps and we carry on, but you don't have to go it alone. And I think that's another beautiful part of the service provided by Hospice of Southern West Virginia. From a patient's family perspective, we wrap our arms around them for 13 months after their loved one passes to get them through every single one of those life moments that are going to happen, all of the holidays, including that Mother's Day and that Father's Day, the birthdays, the things that are special to your family. We're there to be that support network, but we're also here for this community. And that's why we do these public community events, because not every, passing happens, through our watch. But we still wrap our arms around this community when it needs us.
Absolutely, and it's such a wonderful thing that you all do, that you provide these resources for people to, come get what they need from you all. And yes, thank you all once again for, just everything that you do. And if anybody is interested in attending the Coping with the Holidays for Father's Day, that will be Sunday, June 10th from 5:30 to 7. So make sure you put that on your calendars. And I think that's a really awesome event. Prioritize your mental health and make sure that you are being healthy and you are grieving healthily in a healthy way.
Yes.
This is really important. And speaking of which, we also have a Camp Hope for our young people, which is, I feel like that's also a really super important, and I think I don't think a lot of people pay attention enough to kids and how they grieve and how they deal with people passing on. So I think it's really awesome that you all offer that. And if you could you tell us what this camp entails?
Sure. Camp Hope is a 3-day bereavement camp. It's going to take place this year, June 17th through the 19th. It takes place out at Glade Springs. We have children between the ages of 7 and 17 split up into age-appropriate groups, and those groups are then led by camp counselors, bereavement specialists, and they do activities, fun activities, and they also do activities that help them learn to understand their own grief and processing it in a way that is helpful and meaningful for their age. I have talked to parents who have lost their parents, and so their children have lost their grandparents, and the parents are so gripped by their own grief that they miss sometimes that their children are grieving too, and how are they managing it. And so I think this is an opportunity for us to be able to plug kids and teenagers into a healthy environment where they can be expressive in their own way in this environment, without any kind of pressures or social pressures or whatever, and be around other kids who have also lost a special someone in their life. And you hear this around the table, the kids who have lost their dads, or their kids who have lost a grandparent, or their kids who lost a special person, and they connect with each other. And so it's a support, and then it's the opportunity to engage and learn and express your grief, and then also have some fun too.
Yeah, that's really wonderful, because I feel that it gives them an opportunity, like you said, to go ahead and explore that grief and to build those coping mechanisms, but they can also have fun with other kids their age and still be a child.
Yes.
So that's really awesome. And honestly, this was something that I needed at my age. You know, sometimes they say that death comes in threes, and that was something that I experienced. And I just kind of think about kids who have experienced like traumatic event after traumatic event after traumatic event, and how helpful this can be for them. So that will start June 17th through the 19th, and they are taking applications right now, so make sure that you go check that out. I believe it's on the Hospice website. Right. Okay, Hospice of southernwv.com. .org. I get them mixed up sometimes. Yes. But yes, definitely check into that as well. I think that is so important for these kids, and honestly just for the community as a whole. It's really awesome that you're providing something for everybody of all ages to make sure that they are being healthy and taking care of themselves. Yes. And honoring their loved ones.
Absolutely. It's really a safe space that you're in, that you're around kids your own age who have experienced the same thing. You know, it's not like being in school and having a loss, and maybe nobody else in the class has had that loss like you have had. And so being in this environment, I think, helps them create relationships, and also just helps them understand in a way that's gentle and caring, and we see you, we see you, and then they do have a good time there, and we feed them well. So it is a good 3 days, and it is a 3 days that even all of our staff that volunteer to come out and be a part of this, the nurses, the administrative staff, the volunteers that we have come specially just for this camp. I think we leave feeling so much more blessed having been a part of it. There's just something special about it. And I just encourage, if you have kids who have experienced the loss of someone special in their life, this is good. This is a good thing.
Definitely. So make sure you keep that on your calendars. And if you're interested in volunteering, make sure you get in touch with Hospice as well, because I can see that would be a great thing to volunteer for too. And I think, honestly, a lot of things with kids, kids are they're just funny, and they're their own little people. So, and you can learn a lot from them too. So, I mean, I think this is a good opportunity to go out here and fellowship with some young people and be a good mentor.
Yes, absolutely. Create memories with kids and in a moment that is really hard for them, and they don't understand, and they're trying to figure it all out. And then if have teenagers, and then there's hormones involved, and emotions run deep in that time of their life. And so just being around other teenagers, and again, people who can help you figure out a healthy path of grief, and acknowledge and see and help you cope.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are about a minute or so out from our show. Sadly, we always have the best conversations. I know, it goes fast. But before we go, do you mind plugging that contact information one more time so everybody knows where to find these wonderful resources?
Absolutely. So if you're looking to purchase tickets for the concert, the Revved Up Regardless concert at Woodrow Wilson High School Auditorium, you can do that at wvauto.com. And then when it comes to all of the bereavement things that we have to offer, you can go to hospiceofsouthernwv.org and learn more there. And Camp Hope, again, if you would like more information or an application, don't hesitate to give us a call at 304-255-6404.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jerry. I love talking to you. I love talking to you about hospice. It's just such an important thing. And I think you always get great information to the people.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you all for joining us for Community Forum this Sunday. Make sure you tune in next Sunday where we speak to more local success stories and community leaders about important things going on here in Southern West Virginia. You all have a happy Sunday.